3 things: the tool, the formula, and the process to becoming a high-value man that creates kingdom impact and gets whatever he wants with women, work, and the world of men. If you're struggling in any of those areas, respect from your woman, not making what you should at work, or struggling to build relationships with other men, I'm gonna break down the 25 questions that you need to answer to provide instant clarity, a simple 6-step formula that you can deploy today, and a process every man must go through to become a high-value man. Quick introduction, and then we'll get into it. My name is Aaron Alejandrino, and I'm a men's coach. I've had the privilege of working with nearly 1,000 men over the last 10 years in getting clarity of vision, defining core values, and stacking victory so they can lead in their 4 F's: faith, fitness, family, and finances. I've had the honor and privilege of working alongside some of the greatest minds in men's coaching, and I've discovered that there is an actual blueprint for success. There's a tool, a formula, and a process that any man can follow. But first, let's talk about what every man wants. Every man wants a life of fulfillment, to live his purpose, know his vocation, and to leave a legacy behind, to stand on the peak and look out over a lifetime of proud memories, to be respected, admired, and loved for doing the difficult and challenging things that others fear. Look at the men you look up to: the warriors, the athletes, the champions, and the businessmen that defy odds and inspire others. These are the modern-day heroes and characters from every story that has lit a fire of inspiration. These men have reached a peak state of fulfillment, which is made up of 4 parts: faith, fitness, family, and finances. Faith is a belief-based mindset that God has a plan for you, that you lead from a place of inner integrity and peace. A faithful man is grounded in his masculine core because he knows that God is on his side. This man is unwavering in times of stress. It says in Hebrews 11:1, "Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about things we do not see." Ask yourself this question: do you have rock-solid faith? Fitness: you have the physical discipline that embodies strength and endurance. You are strong and capable, protecting and presiding, and willing to suffer and struggle and stand in the gap for those that you serve. 1 Corinthians 9:27, "I discipline my body like an athlete, training to do what I should. Otherwise, I fear that after preaching to others, I myself might be disqualified." Your example matters as a man, and you must be fit. Family: you're respected, admired, and followed because you live a life of followable excellence. Your legacy focus, and whether you have a wife and kids or not, doesn't matter. This is Leadership 101, and everywhere you go, it gets better because of who you are. Think about King David. He's one of the Bible's greatest leaders and family men. He slayed lions, bears, and giants and was a leader of men. He is in the Bible called a man after God's own heart. Made plenty of mistakes in his life, but his lineage carried the seed of greatness, and his legacy will always be remembered. Finances: your 4th F-bomb. You're a good steward with the talents and treasures, and you realize that poverty is a prison, and money is a tool to create freedom for you and your family. You're a generous giver, responsible, and positively impact the world with your income and your investments. Because you've mastered these 4 domains, you create income and opportunity for others. Proverbs: the crown of the wise is wealth, and a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. These are the 4 parts that make a high-value man. So we talk about the end in mind. Every man wants a path of fulfillment. He knows that he's designed for more. But here's the truth of the matter: most men live right here on the edge of life, on this ledge, looking out, looking, wanting, and wishing, just waiting for the right opportunity to happen. This guy is stuck on the ledge, realizing that he's meant for more and not knowing how to close the gap. He sees the distance between where he is and where he wants to go, but doesn't know the first step. Most men, rather than taking that first leap of faith, they return to the past. They go back to the familiar: the drinking, the drugs, the distractions, dead-end jobs, and these men slowly suffer in silence, watching their dreams disappear. Thoreau said, "Most men lead lives of quiet desperation," and this couldn't be more true, my friend. Suicide is rapidly becoming a leading cause of men's death, and the rising number of fatherless homes paints a very clear picture that men are living passively. The modern man is isolated and alone, suffering in silence, told to just be a man with little to no guidance in the way of men. We can't become what was never modeled. And so many men follow in the footsteps of repeated pain from their past. Chains that their fathers never broke that get passed on as an inheritance of suffering. Look around. Look in the mirror. You don't have to look very far to see that men are struggling. Every year we age, the dreams become more distant, seemingly farther and further away, and the burden of being a man cripples us. The high-value man realizes the past is not an option. So he approaches this edge, and rather than going back to the past, he takes that first leap, the leap of faith. Any man that has achieved any level of greatness had to first diagnose what was wrong, develop what was right, and deploy his greatness into the world. The tool that we use is called the gap map. This is your first step in discovering where you are so you can decide where you're going. One way to know where you're going is to experience a significant life event. A death in your family, divorce, bankruptcy, business failure, or a major health concern. This is often the wake-up call that so many men can't ignore to paint a very clear picture of where they are now. This often puts the man into a spiral of fixing, becoming a firefighter in his own life, moving from problem to problem, rather than creating a proactive plan. Another way to gain clarity is with an assessment tool. The Gap Map is a discovery tool with 25 questions to give you insight and understanding with exactly what's missing. It covers the 4 domains: your faith, your fitness, your family, and your finances, to show you the areas you're strong in and the areas you need to strengthen. This simple assessment is step 1 in the process of becoming a high-value man. Once equipped with the Gap Map, you'll use the 6V formula to develop your purpose and deploy it to the world. Now that you know where you are, you get to decide where you're going. And vision is the first step. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Proverbs 29:18. And you might think perish means to die, and you'd be absolutely right. But the root of this word actually means to cast off restraint, or to be undisciplined and with no direction. Drifting, repeating the same fruitless pattern over and over again. Coming to the edge of life and returning back to those old decisions and distractions that are keeping you away from the life you want to live. The only thing that will get you off the edge and away from the familiar is a powerful and compelling vision. A clear direction to provide you hope in uncertain times, clarity through challenges, and the ability to push through the struggles. A 2-year vision is ideal. 2 years from where you are now is the very first V in the 6V formula. Once you've got the vision, now you need to define your core values. Values help you make decisions faster and will help you discern good from great. We all have things we value, but most men operate from default values rather than designed values. So they end up getting a life of default and not design. The only difference between an actual value and an aspirational value is the action you decide to take. So in building your core values, ask yourself this question: what would I need to value to make my vision become easy and automatic? The third V is victories. Winning matters. In order for you to become the man of greatness, you need to stack consistent and systematic wins to build your confidence and your competence and learn the new skills. Before he was a great leader of men, King David killed a giant, and before that he was a shepherd that protected his flock from a lion and a bear. He trained before he reigned, and each victory built his confidence and his competence to take on the next challenge. If you have a compelling vision, it should have goals in there that intimidate you, and you'll need to break them up in smaller, systematic steps and apply consistent pressure to achieve them. So the question I ask you is, what is the first victory you need to stack to make your vision possible? Vision gives you direction, values help you make your decisions faster, and victories develop your greatness. The only thing that stands in your way are your vices, and we all have them. This is the 4th V in the 6V formula. Drinking, drugs, and masturbation, porn, all those are the easy ones to identify. But under the surface are the real vices: fear, procrastination, laziness, self-doubt, victim mindset, confusion, and passivity. Have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them to the light. Ephesians 5:11. The problem with the modern man is there is comfort everywhere. Fast and cheap dopamine from Grubhub, Netflix, and now AI. It may look like advancements in society, but the truth is it's becoming a vice of laziness and sedation. So many men are trapped, wasting, waiting, and wanting rather than working for what they want. If you don't identify and destroy your vices, they will destroy your life. Your thinking got you into this, whatever this is for you right now, and your thinking can't get you out of this alone. That's why you need to improve the voices in your life. And this is the 5th V in the formula. We all have 3 voices in our head: the critic, the coach, and the champion. The critic is the voice that keeps you stuck. It may be mom or dad, the devil or the darkness, and its only job is to keep you imprisoned. The critic is the voice of negativity, pessimism, and doubt that buries all dreams and destroys hope. The coach is the voice that you bring into your life to help you discern good from bad thinking. Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. another piece of wisdom from the book of Proverbs. Choosing to have a coach in your life is one of the wisest things you can do. A coach's voice will help you see your blind spots, your potential, and make improvements faster. Every great athlete has a coach, and if you're playing to win, you need one too. The third voice is the champion. This is the inner voice of greatness, the Holy Spirit, intuition, God's voice, your highest self, that shows up once you silence the critic. This is your true north, your compass, and the only voice that can help you achieve your potential. Once the inner champion voice is identified, the last step in the formula is shown. This is the vocation, your blueprint, your path, your golden thread. This is your life's work. It's your purpose and potential, your greatness, and your calling. It's why you're here. God has a plan for you, and it's your job to discover what it is, and that's your vocation. Every misery you've ever experienced has a seed of ministry. Every struggle you've overcome is the formula for another person's success. This is the fulfillment you're seeking. A man that knows his vocation is a powerful and driven man. He operates from a deep sense of confidence. He wakes up with purpose, attacks the day, and pushes through challenges with ease. This is the high-value man and 6V formula. Vision, values, victories, vices, voice, and vocation. These are the 6 pillars that you must establish to reach your peak state. We've talked about the tool, the gap map, the 25 questions, an assessment to show you where you are, and the 6V formula. The last piece is the process. Process to becoming a high-value man is one you can't do alone. Men are tribal by nature, and everything in masculinity is modeled. In order for a man to become a great man, he must spend time with greater men. Iron sharpens iron, and one man sharpens another. Proverbs 25:17. If you know anything about the blacksmithing process, you know that in order for the steel of a sword to become strong, sharp, and capable, it must be forged in fire and beaten of impurities. This is the same for masculine development. We need the fire of the tribe of men to melt us down and burn away the weakness and passivity that holds us back. Healthy male relationships are confrontational, competitive, and challenging, and it's through this process that character is developed. Ask any athlete, a veteran, a builder of businesses, the best seasons of his life, and he will undoubtedly say it was a time spent with brothers focused on a mission and overcoming challenges. A community of high-value men is essential to becoming a high-value man. Like Lauren, a high-value man lifetime member who first joined because he was facing potential separation, lack of confidence at work, struggles leading his son, and feelings of loneliness from the other men. He has since deepened his connection with his wife, ran a 40-mile ultramarathon, received bonuses and promotions at work, and taken up Toastmaster and improved his relationship with his wife. He is a beacon of masculinity for his son, his family, and his community. Or Joe Dalton, husband and father of 4, who since joining has launched a podcast, gone all in on a side hustle, and creating both time and financial freedom for himself and his family. He's creating lasting friendships with the other men in the group. Or Cole, a 27-year-old railroad worker, currently 9 months sober, and is giving up his blue-collar job and going all in on a new sales profession and on path to doubling his income. Isaac, a new father, follower of Christ, and husband, gaining clarity on his family's core values and implementing regular family meetings and a vision casting for him and his wife, putting processes in place that his son will be able to stand on. A good friend, Mike, an iron worker from New York that joined over a year ago, has since been baptized, started a new profession, and drawing closer to his daughter. I could go on and on because we've had well over 100 men come through the program in the last 2 years, each unique, but all so very similar. We walked them each through the tool, the process, and the formula to get them clarity and direction. And it all began with the first step, the gap map. In the description to this video are the 25 questions to help you gain clarity and step 1 of your journey. You'll need about 10 minutes to complete the survey, and you do so without any distractions. After you complete the survey, you'll get a customized breakdown that'll help you visualize exactly where you are and what domain needs your attention now. Plus, you'll get simple instructions on how to deploy the 6V formula today and begin creating clarity with a powerful and compelling vision. The best part, it's absolutely free. Just click the link below, take your free gap map, and begin your path to becoming a high-value man. I'll see you on the other side.